A group of Israeli academics, journalists and activists have addressed a letter to the Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen, asking him to help prevent a humanitarian disaster in Nagorno-Karabakh. To discuss this and more, I am joined by an expert on the South Caucasus who is currently in Israel, Mr. Yaron Weiss. So, Mr. Yaron Weiss, thank you very much for your time.
Hello.
First off, this letter, I would like you to explain what exactly this letter was all about, why you and your colleagues, associates, decided to put your names to this letter. This letter is addressed to the Israeli Foreign Minister, Mr. Eli Cohen. So can you explain to our watchers what was the purpose of addressing this letter to Mr. Cohen?
Okay, in Israel, you know, there is a new government, and as all we know that Israel has a very good relationship with Azerbaijan. Israel sell weapons to Azerbaijan and buy gas, and also strategic relationship, also relationship with Russia. And we believe that Israel has that influence to try to finish this situation in Artsakh. All of us, or most of us, the people who signed the letter, we have connection with Armenia and also with Artsakh, and we worry about the situation. We are, I can say that some of us, or maybe most of us, feel very bad about the Israeli weapon who used by Azerbaijan against the Armenian people in Artsakh. During the war in 2020, we even made protests and tried hard through the media, through the letters to the government, to stop this sending weapon to Azerbaijan during the war, and but it didn't change anything. And now we understand this is our duty, not be quiet, and that to show our solidarity to the people in Artsakh, and also to try to influence the government. There are people, professor from the university who has a good relationship with Armenia. They are also teaching in Armenia. It's also a journalist who works in the media and very influenced. And we try to, by this letter and by the publicity of this letter, to try to make our government to act. If they cannot, we are very worried about the relationship with Azerbaijan. We think it's very dangerous, not just for Armenia, also for Israel. But at least we want that our government try to make the influence humanitarian, to stop this humanitarian crisis. Because myself, I have a lot of friends in Artsakh, and I have a connection with them, and I very worry about them. And even some of us don't sleep at night because of the situation. And we try to do our best to convince our government to show the other side of Israel, not just the side of selling weapons, also the side that Israel can help to other nations to solve conflict between them.
And many have compared the Armenian and Jewish peoples. Both peoples have been persecuted, both peoples have suffered a genocide. Many circles in both Armenia and Israel and the governments have called for deeper relations between the two countries. But as you mentioned, The Israeli state did sell weapons to Azerbaijan that were used to devastating effect in the 2020 Karabakh war. There's this perception in Armenia that Israel is more pro-Azerbaijan than pro-Armenia. But my question is there a discrepancy? Is there a difference between how the Israeli state approaches the Armenia-Azerbaijan issue and the Israeli people? How do Israeli people approach, what do they think about Armenia and Armenians and the Armenian cause?
Most of the Israeli people that I talk with them, they feel a solidarity to the Armenian people because the similarity, the Armenian genocide and the Holocaust. I am a grandson of a Holocaust survivor. And I cannot be quiet when I see my friend in Artsakh, which I was there many, many times in the past. They are now in dangers of ethnic cleansing in Artsakh, ethnic cleansing in Artsakh. And this is actually, if I don't want to make a compare, but what done in the Jewish in Europe is also, they wanted to clean the Jewish population in Europe. And this is something that happening in the 21st century when the Azerbaijani want to eliminate all the Armenian population in Artsakh and destroyed all the church and all the Armenian monuments there. And right now there is 120,000 people who are starving, who are split from their family from Armenia. And it's a huge problem. And I think the first country who had to protest against it is Israel, because our similar history with Armenia. And I can assure you that many people in Israel understand it. The problem is the cynical politician, the cynical weapon dealer who see Azerbaijan as a good market for the Israeli weapon. And you know, it's very, very shameful. And I can tell you that I'm very depressed that we're trying to do our best with protests and letters to the government with no any success. But I can assure you that we will never be quiet. We always speak loud, that everybody will know what's happening. And maybe one day Israel change the policy and start to try to make more peace between nations and not just, take care about the own interests of the weapon industry and other things.
And I'm curious, Yaron, there was a perception in Armenia that the government of former Prime Minister Yair Lapid, which was described as more liberal than the Netanyahu government, may be more favorable to the Armenian cause. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has managed to form yet another government, and previous administrations under Netanyahu have taken similar approaches with regards to Armenia-Azerbaijan. Do you expect the Netanyahu government to change direction? What do you think? How does the political scene in Israel view the Armenian cause?
If to be honest, I don't have any expectation of the government because what they see for their own eyes is just the interest of Israel, the interest of the weapon, the huge weapon industry, the interest of buy oil from Azerbaijan, and the interest of what they said strategic relationship between Israel and Azerbaijan. And they don't even care about the other side of this relationship. And the other side of this relationship is a very dangerous situation of Armenian people, Armenian population, not just in Artsakh, even they said Azerbaijan, even they want territories from Armenia itself. So if I can be honest, I don't believe the politician. I believe the power of the people. I believe that we have to convince the people to talk about it all the time, try with the Israeli media, try to make protest what we did in the past, and always say the truth, always share our solidarity, the solidarity of the good people of Israel with the people of Artsakh. And this is actually the main reason why we send the letter, because we cannot be quiet on that situation when we know that Israel has the power, because Israel has this influence with Azerbaijan and has the power to try to solve this conflict. I remember when the Russian-Ukrainian war started a few months ago, the former Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, he went to Moscow to discuss with Putin. He actually was the first foreign leader who went to Moscow to discuss with Putin to try to make his influence to solve the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So and he failed, unfortunately. But I believe Israel has this power to solve this conflict because the special relationship between Israel, Azerbaijan, and Russia.
And finally, Yaron, I want to ask, both the Armenian and Israeli governments have called for deeper relations. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine started, a number of Jews from Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia have moved to Armenia. Israel plans to open an embassy in Armenia. Armenia has just appointed an ambassador to Israel. My final question would be, what would your message be to Tel Aviv? What would your message be to the Israeli government with regards to future prospects of Armenian-Israeli relations? And what would your message be to them about future Israeli-Azerbaijani relations?
First of all, I think I also work in the tourism industry. And I think to create good relationship between nations, you need flights, direct flights. Now the there is one line which is sometimes works, sometimes not. And when people will meet each other, it can make they improve the relationship. Unfortunately, what Israeli government show all for the last years to the Armenian people, that how Israel support the worst enemy of Armenia, Azerbaijan, and use the Armenia use even the Armenian genocide and recognition cynically against the Armenian, because they sometimes say, we're going to recognize the Armenian genocide, but they never do it. So I think, first of all, Israel need to recognize the Armenian genocide, try to, with both government, to create more airline to Yerevan, from Tel Aviv, Yerevan, to improve the relationship between the people. People will meet each other. And this is the first step, I think, to be done to improve the relationship. About Azerbaijan, unfortunately, this is dictatorship, and I hope Israel in the future. This is just the Israeli matter. I hope Israeli in the future will be smart to choose a better friend than Azerbaijan, to be an ally of democratic countries like Armenia, like the Western, and not to choose a kinds of countries like Azerbaijan and other who are dictatorship. I believe also it's a danger for Israel, because one day there will be a revolution in Azerbaijan, and all this weapon how Israel sold to Azerbaijan will be against us. This has happened in the past with Iran, where Israel was the ally of the Shah, and after the revolution, all that weapon was against Israel. So I believe Israel they will understand that this kind of relationship with Azerbaijan is not just dangerous for Armenia, it's also dangerous for Israel itself.
Okay, well, Mr. Yaron Weiss, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Emilio.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.